Hello, everyone, and welcome to Kings of Fantasy Football. I'm your co-host Pablo, and here's my co-host.
Leo.
So, on today's episode, we are going to discuss some sleeper picks. So, for anyone who does not know what sleeper picks are, these are picks that have potential to be really good, but they're drafted in the really late rounds. So in our other episodes, we kind of went over the, prominent picks, rankings as far as the mock draft episode as well. So now we're going to go into more in depth and we're going to go over some sleeper picks. So I'm going to go ahead and start off. So my first sleeper pick, so these are essentially, as of right now, average draft position in round 10 or above, and we're using the premise of it being a 10-man league since that is the most common. So my first sleeper pick is Calvin Ridley. So Calvin Ridley is still listed as the wide receiver 1 on the Titans depth chart. So normally wide receiver 1s, that's normally where the ball's going to go to the most. Now, the reason I picked Ridley is because his starting quarterback from last year is out for surgery. He's out for surgery all of this year. So then we have the rookie Cam Ward under center. So I'm picking him as a sleeper pick because who knows, him and Ward can have really good connection. He could be looking to Ridley's way and throw it to him often. And with the picking him up in rounds 10 or later, and he can blossom into that solid wide receiver 1. That's obviously what a lot of managers would really like, because you get a tremendous value picking him that late, and then he get at least double-digit points every week. So that is why I have him as my first sleeper pick. Leo, who's yours?
My first sleeper, I'm going to go with Ricky Pearsall, wide receiver from the San Francisco 49ers. He's got a wide open reign to being the possible wide receiver 1 in this offense. Right now, he has a current ADP of 104, which is outside after the 100. He's we got, obviously, we kind of talked about a couple previous podcasts. Deebo Samuel's gone. Juwan Jennings has been dealing with a injury. I heard today that I saw already today that he re-injured one of his an injury he had previously, and he's also wants a big contract. Basically, the other, even though McCaffrey, is the jack of all trades, and Kittle is there. I believe that Ricky Pearsall will have definitely an opportunity to be the wide receiver 1 for this offense. He's going to have, excuse me, he has the draft capital that he was drafted in the late first round last year, and he's been at the end of last year. He came on, he had he missed the first half of the year, with that he got shot prior to the season starting, and he got back, dealt with a couple of injuries, but towards the tail end of last year, he did come on strong, and I look for that to continue this year.
Yeah, like you said, he could really be in that wide receiver 1, especially without you coming back from major injury, Juwan Jennings wanting out. So Pearsall could be listed as wide receiver 1 on the depth chart on opening day. So that's going to be really interesting. Now, my next sleeper pick is a QB who last year he struggled, he got benched, he came back and showed some flashes, and that's going to be Bryce Young of Carolina. And he got some major help. The Panthers got a top wide receiver in this year's draft. He's, the clips that I've been seeing, he's been making some really good catches, turning some heads. So if, he kind of goes into that or goes into his rookie season being like a lot of star rookie wide receivers that we've seen as of late um in fantasy over the last few years that could make Bryce Young really solid quarterback, especially again drafting him in round 10 and later. Now obviously this is more for like super flex because unless you just want a solid backup for your bye week in a 1 QB league, but a super flex, especially if you draft his receiver, be a really good combo to have with Bryce Young and his rookie wide receiver. So that is my next sleeper pick. What about you?
Well, I'm gonna stick with the quarterbacks as my sleeper pick this round, and I'm actually gonna go with Caleb Williams. We all know that he was a rookie last year, had a really rough year, um, due to different reasons, but the table's set for him to come alive this year. He has a new head coach, which is Ben Johnson. He's coming over from Detroit. We all know that offense has been on fire for the last couple of years. So right off the bat, he's improved his coaching and offense. Top of that, he did have Keenan Allen last year, which to me was already at the tail end of his career. He's no longer with this team. They drafted Luther Burden, which is a rookie that a lot of experts like his his opportunities this year, and he was very productive in college, and they also drafted Colson Loveland, which is one of the very athletic tight end. So he has those guys along with DJ Brown, Rome Dunze, DeAndre Swift, with an improved offense. So definitely I see Caleb Williams taking the next step this year. As long as the offensive line can hold up for him, which I know they've improved their offensive line as well a little bit. So they do have he does have a chance to come alive. You have this kind of, to me, quarterback is very deep this year, which is it has been that every year these last couple of years, but even more so this year with every year, you know, uh, quarterbacks keep coming in, teams keep improving, so you can wait on quarterbacks and like I said, Caleb is going right now currently at 113 ADP, so that's pretty good thing opportunity if you decide to wait late on a quarterback, or if you want to get a promising rookie as your quarterback too. So definitely someone to look at.
Now, I will kind of, piggyback off of this. The things that I've been, again, training camp just started. But what I've been seeing is, you're getting a new head coach, brand new offensive system and everything. So I'm sure it's gonna take Caleb, I would say at least like 4 weeks into the season. Because preseason they're probably not gonna get a lot of reps. Training camp, who knows. But I think if you're going to draft him, don't expect him to be like, 3, 4 touchdowns every week just because he has Ben Johnson, who's coming from Detroit. They were known for their high-powered offense. But I would kind of temper your expectations just a little bit. But I do think he's, like you said, a really good sleeper pick, especially in his ADP. He, of course, has the weapons. Will it happen, week one? Who knows? Now my next pick, this is going to be a rookie that I think just because of where he's at, and it's really hard to tell who's that true wide receiver one in Green Bay. I think Matthew Golden, with his average draft position of round 11 or later, he was quick, and Texas has had some really quick wide receivers come out from that university the last few years, and if he is that go-to deep ball threat in Green Bay, I think that can kind of be that difference maker, or he could be that every week flex play that you need, or he could just really blossom because the other receivers kind of get the more of attention, and Golden, is getting the not the top tier corner covering him. And I was really upset as a Texans fan when he got drafted right before the Texans pick. I thought it was going to be a match made in heaven if we were able to land him in that first round. But Jordan Love, good QB, even though they are more of a run-heavy offense. But if they need that big play, they need that speedster, kind of like Xavier Worthy in Kansas City. I think Golden can really fit those shoes. So that is my next sleeper pick. What about you?
My next pick is another rookie. He's a receiver. He goes by the name of Emeka Igbuka. Some might be like, who the hell is that? But I'm here to tell you who he is. He's a receiver that was drafted by the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. Another offense that's been on fire lately. He does seem to, at first you might think that he's going into a crowded receiving room with Mike Evans, but the thing is that Chris Godwin, he is coming back off of injury, and he's on the PUP list already. So that which has given Emeka some time to be on the field more, and he's already proving that he's a force to be reckoned with. Like I said, sometime at some point this year, he's definitely someone to look at, like in the later rounds as a flyer. And if I have the opportunity towards the end of my draft, he's someone to grab.
Yeah, I mean, Baker been doing good, and I don't know if you saw him on the Kelsey Brothers podcast. Apparently, he's already praising him, that he is the guy. So
Yeah,
I'm sure that just by itself catapulted him, and like you said, if you're able to snatch him up, especially in the later rounds.
yeah, he's currently going with an ADP of 125. So people are aware of him, and also Mike Evans is getting up there in age too. So if he goes down too with an injury, which he started dealing a little bit with last year, some nicks and bruises. So we'll see. Like I said, these are some sleepers. I like to go a little deeper. Give some the fantasy football league managers there some deeper guys. But yeah, someone to look at.
And we don't know how Godwin's going to perform coming off of his injury, so who knows how this rookie might do. Now, this next guy has been turning heads in training camp. I don't know, where he's going to end up as far as the depth chart over here in New York. And this is the rookie running back, Cam Stativo. So in this mock that I did, he was round 12. But having a good hopefully Russell Wilson under center. And they like to use rookie running backs pretty much all across the NFL. Fresh legs, kind of like putting in the whoever has fresh legs, or he could be, really big in that offense, just depending on how he does. But in college, he was really good, and I think it was the Sun Devils. I don't remember the college, but I remember his mascot. So he can, hopefully fight for some playing time. And if he makes the most out of it, then as the season progresses, they'll keep using him more and more. So if you're looking for, again, high upside players with, you're drafting him late, I think Cam Tebow can definitely be that depth that you need at the running back position. Now, who's your next pick?
Yeah, that's a good pick by you. Yeah, Scotabo has definitely some moves out there. He's already made, like you said, turning some heads there in training camp. And Tyrone Tacy um, had some issues last year, so definitely he's gonna work his way into the rotation for sure. We're gonna stay in the NFC East, and I'm gonna go with another. As I don't know, most of you guys might know this rookie running back class was stacked, and I'm gonna go with another one. This guy is has a current ADP of 134. His name is Jaden Blue. He's a rookie running back with the Dallas Cowboys. He's already, like I said, another running back that's been making headways there in the in the preseason. Well, not preseason, but in training camp. He's already worked his way to getting some first team reps in the offense as early as last week, last couple of days, and he's going so he's definitely going to compete for touches there. The couple of guys that are ahead of him is Javonte Williams, who has been very lackluster, which we all know. Over the last couple of years, hasn't done much in Denver, and also Miles Sanders, who's another um, of another runner that's been very lackluster as well. He hasn't done much, so the table's set for Jaden Blue to get more touches immediately in this offense. So Dak Prescott's back. He's gonna have they're not going to be able to stack the box, obviously, because they got CeeDee Lamb and now George Pickens there. So and then also Jake Ferguson, who just signed a nice deal. So definitely Jaden Blue is someone to grab. What you want to do in your last few picks is get running backs that could be lottery tickets. If they break through quick or the running back ahead of them gets hurt, you have a stud for the rest of the year. So I think you won't have to wait that long because I think he is gonna work his way into the offense and definitely someone to pick up later in your draft.
Now, this isn't the guy that I saw reports that supposedly was lazy.
Supposedly, yeah, but he's already taking, and he's a lazy and he's already taking first team reps. So
First team
that's got
reps. Well,
that's got to say something.
maybe that report kind of turned his
Put a little
I
fire in his
guess
ass.
right. I was gonna say turn his work ethic around or something.
Yeah.
But yeah, like you said, if he's already getting first team reps, 21 years old, like you said, Williams and Sanders aren't like star running backs by any means. And then I know I've been seeing clips, but who knows how much hype as far as the offense looking good in Dallas. Now, my last, well, maybe not last, we still might have some more time, but my next sleeper pick will be a little bit biased, and this is Jaden Higgins from the Houston Texans in this draft that I did. He was picked around 13, and I think that him being essentially a wide receiver 3, behind Collins and his teammate from Iowa State may kind of have people wondering, like, why would I pick him up if he's behind two other, I guess receivers from the same team, but I'm thinking, and just hear me, just hear me out. So because you have Collins and you have the other on the other side, again, same kind of physical build, um, as Collins, they're both tall. That is going to essentially be, at least for this year, who knows, but it's supposed to be like Tank Dell. So Tank Dell, even though he was not like an every week, but when the other players went down, you saw Tank Dell kind of be into that, wide receiver one. So knock on wood, if anyone gets hurt, obviously it's the next man up. But in my head, I think if you have two tall receivers, you're obviously going to have probably your best corners on them, which is going to open up some room for Higgins, in my opinion. And that's essentially what a lot of analysts have been saying is he's that short, quick, runs good routes type wide receiver. And again, I think it's to me like the third string corner that's on Higgins. So, like you said, kind of drafting with the intent of, if they have high upside, if they do well, um, then who knows, this could be um a player that, does really well, especially with the new offensive coordinator over there in Houston. And that's why you're drafting him so late is kind of just hoping that he does well. That's what the sleepers are. Who's your next pick?
All right, so I'm gonna go deep for my last guy, and his name is Rashard Smith. He's another rookie running back. But the thing is with him, he actually started off as a wide receiver in college. He has a four. He ran the 40 in 4.39. So he's got the speed, and what's probably best of all, he's going to the Kansas City offense, which is a haven for for players to make plays. So in one of your last picks, definitely someone to consider. If he comes through, hey, you got a tremendous player in your on your hands. They've compared him to kind of like, I don't know if you guys remember a couple years ago when Jerick McKinnon was playing in this offense. He's a receiving machine. So definitely they've compared him to him. So if he does work his way into the offense, which I believe he will, he's someone that's gonna be making plays out of the backfield. The Pacheco, he's to me he's more of a running rusher, like pounding it in, and also Kareem Hunt. He's up there in age, so those are the guys that are ahead of him and currently in the depth chart. And I like I said, I think that Brashard Smith does have a chance to make some plays in the receiving game. A couple other guys that I like that you guys might want to take a look at is Drake May. Deeper in the like I said earlier, there's quarterbacks are real deep this year. So if you need like a second quarterback, Drake May is someone to look at. He has he runs the ball and definitely has some potential there. And the other guy that I'm gonna talk to that everyone always says that I have an infatuation for this guy, but his Kyle Pitts. He's currently being the 17th tight end off the board, and he's so far like down the thing that he's also has a ADP of 145 currently, which is crazy. When this guy was being drafted in the third, like third, fourth, fifth round when he was early in his career. So the reason why I think he's a sleeper this year, He's also been making some plays here in training camp. And like I said, if you decide to wait on tight end, if you don't get those top two guys, McBride and eh, Brock Bowers. If you even George Kittle, once you don't get none of those three, you can wait on tight end and then take a chance with Kyle Pitts, uh, in the 14th round or wherever he's getting drafted now, late in the draft. So because he does have the potential to come on. He does have Michael Penix now as his quarterback for the full season. So definitely has a chance to come through with a bandit at the end.
So, are you going to be like, I guess a lot of the clips and things I've been seeing on social media. Penix, I think he was the one that said it. I don't know if it was like the early training camp or now that the training camp has officially started, is that they were getting him the ball a lot, which kind of, started this circuit, Kyle Pitts circus, and I'm gonna say it's a circus because what's it been? He's in year 5, I think.
I think, yeah.
What's crazy is that he's in year 5, and yet he's younger than Michael Penix.
Yeah. Yeah, he started young. He was real young.
I mean, if he was there, and like you said, it's round like the
13,
last
14.
2 rounds down,
Yeah.
that you already got a tight end, and you maybe want to add a second one. Just because normally when I draft, I just draft one, and then we'll drop someone and or just kind of pick up the tight end of the week type of deal. Because like you said, if you don't
Yeah, you
have
start streaming.
if you don't have those elite ones and Bowers and those top tight ends, and you're just hoping that your tight end gives you some points. I think even though I've never, well, I think I may have had it once. I don't even know, bro, to be honest. But if he's in the last 2 rounds and he's there, I think I would pull the trigger just because
Yeah,
if Penix starts, that's usually security blankets as tight ends.
yeah, no, exactly. That's what I'm saying. Though at the position he's getting drafted right now, at his ADP right now, hey, he's someone to look. I know he's been there in the league, like you said, 4 or 5 years already. But hey, at this time, if you need a tight end and you decide to punt on the position, he's there. Like you could be like the last person to draft a tight end, and he's there. And like you said, at that point, you'll start streaming a tight ends anyway. So see what happens.
Yep, see what happens. So thank you everyone for tuning in. Again, these are kind of some later picks. Definitely kind of use this or keep this in the back of your heads if you're already trying to come up with your draft strategy for your drafts. Usually, in once August hits, it's where a good majority of when people draft. Unless you were already did some with like Dynasty and things like that. But normally for redrafts, usually starting in August is when the majority of them happen. So some of these sleepers can be kind of like I don't know if you want to call them league winners, but I remember one year or like 2 years ago when I drafted what's the running back from the Dolphins? I think Mostert, who had a
Ramos.
really monster year. I drafted him in like round 13, 12. Had a monster year, so these are the kind of diamonds that you're trying to find in these later picks. So hopefully these help you. If you have any questions, you can reach me on X. That would be at Archreaper, ARCHRAPR. Please make sure that you share this, follow us. We're on all the major platforms: Apple, Spotify. Give us a shout out. We're usually posting on Twitter as well. Leo, where can they reach you?
Yeah, if you have any questions on fantasy football, Dynasty, you can reach me on X at Smooth1074. And definitely, like Carlos said, if you like the show, follow and subscribe. Leave a comment. Helps us out to get noticed.
Thanks, everyone.
Peace.